here is the critical faculty in greater detail. So basically, what we're going to learn is that there are 7 perceptual filters of the mind. So this is how it works. What happens is you see an event, something happens. So I'm going to ask you a question. Let's say you are laying in bed right now. It's after midnight. It's pitch black, except for a little bit of the moon shining through your window. What you see in silhouette is a person. So you know it's not your partner because your partner is snoring next to you, but someone else is in your room. What are you going to do? What you see in the silhouette is you see a hand that's up like this with a closed fist. And then you see something outside of that fist that's a pointed object. And it's coming towards you. So I'm going to ask you, what are you going to do? What's your first reaction, first response?
Verbal, probably.
It's what you'd scream.
Verbal, yeah.
Okay, so you'd go verbal, you'd scream. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Grace, what would you do?
Roll on one side, like away from the, like if roll either left or right.
Yeah.
So
okay,
like something coming straight to me.
Cool. So you would
and also protect the partner as well, like see where it is coming. If like my partner's next to me, then I'd protect her and roll that way so both of us are out of the way. Okay, awesome. So Ian, what would you do?
Probably flick the light on, sort of half panic, flick the light on.
Yeah, okay, because you'd want to identify what it is, yeah? Hey, this is pretty serious. You got someone in your room. What would you do?
No, I don't know why I'm laughing. Well, I bloody well hope not. That's all I'm thinking.
Okay, so you would be in denial.
Yeah, I'd be like, what did I eat?
Yeah. Okay, cool. So what we've got is all of your descriptions were either fight or flight. Now, what you did is you scared the crap out of your child, or you attacked them because it was your child that was coming through with their little toy that wasn't working and they wanted you to fix it. But what I'm aiming to demonstrate is I'm aiming to demonstrate how quickly our unconscious works. So this is how it works. If you want to know why we behave in a particular way, it's because of this. We see an event. This event comes into our consciousness. Now, according to a guy called Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, who wrote a book called Flow, he said every second there are 2 million bits of information per second. But we can't sort that number of bits of information. So what our brain does, particularly the language filter, what it does is it deletes, distorts, or generalizes information. So in other words, if I say, saya mau nasi goreng, if you don't know Indonesian, you don't know that I just said, I want fried rice. So your language filter deletes that information. It says, I'm not listening, I'm not paying attention until it comes into my language. So language is a critical filter. It determines what we understand or what we don't. It's a little bit like I shared earlier. If you don't know what negative gear it is or positive gear, you can't do those things in an investment strategy. So your linguistics expand, so does what you can do. And I'm going to be adding words and phrases that allow you to understand your mind better. So language. The next is your attitude. So your attitude determines what you hear, determines what you don't hear, determines what you accept, determines what you reject, determines how you feel. So you could have what is known as a good attitude or a bad attitude, but either way, it's going to permeate through your understanding. So another filter is your memories filter. We're going to be doing a huge amount of work on your memories filter. I'm going to be teaching you a technique that gets rid of trauma within about 20 minutes. So you can get rid of lifelong trauma really quickly using a particular strategy. So your memories filter tells you what you can and can't do. You know, it's a little bit like, oh my God, I remember I went on a date. It went really bad. So I'm not going to date anymore. You know, so that's a bad experience that tells you that you'll never do that ever again. That happens to a lot of people. You know, a lot of people go into the space of investing. They invest, they lose their money, and they go, oh my God, I'm never going to do that again. Investments go up, investments go down. We lose, we gain. That's the landscape of investing. One thing that I do as a coach is I work a lot with traders, people who trade on the stock market. And I've learned over the years how to condition a trader's brain so that they get really good at expanding what they can make on the stock market. That's all based on the memories filter. The next filter is your beliefs filter. This one is your on or off button. If you believe something's possible, you can make it possible. If you believe it's impossible, you will never try. Who has ever not believed in their beliefs? The answer, no one. You believe your beliefs are true. That's why they're beliefs. If you believe you can earn 6 figures, you can. If you believe you can earn 7 figures, you can. If you can believe you could be a billionaire, you don't necessarily mean you're going to be a billionaire, but you certainly will give it a damn good go. But if you don't believe that you can ever do well financially, you won't. If you believe that you can create a great relationship with someone, you will unconsciously create the opportunity for a great relationship. If you don't believe you can create a great relationship with someone, guess what? You're going to unconsciously trip yourself up to ensure that you are right. Beliefs, oh my God, they create a big, big shift. Many of those people that I've coached that have doubled, trebled, massively increased their income, beliefs is the cornerstone. You've got to believe in what you're doing. If you don't believe in what you're doing, you're going to trip yourself up. If you believe you're going to lose your job or lose a contract, you will. The next thing is values. Values is on a hierarchy. I coached a lady today, and this is sadly what she said to me. She's in her early 50s. She said to me, I have made some really bad decisions in my life. As a result of that, I am struggling for money. I don't have a relationship. I'm not married. I don't have a house. I am so lost in life. The reason is because of her values. She valued freedom over security. So that might sound a little bit strange, but when someone values freedom over security or over finance or over money, what they'll do is they will always look to be free. Let's be honest. At times in your business or your job, when you've been working hard to earn an income, you were not free and you were not looking for freedom. You were working your butt off to achieve. So your values can make a massive difference in your life. They can make a huge, huge difference in your life. What you value is what you go for. Meta programs, I'm not going to talk too much at this level, but meta programs essentially are the filters that are underneath the filters. So in other words, some people, this is where your character, personality, and profile comes from. Your meta programs determine whether you're a people person, a project person, whether you're a big picture thinker or detail, whether you get bored with detail or whether you get bored with the big picture. So that determines how you speak, how you act, and whom you attract into your life. So meta programs are kind of like non-content filters. They're literally how you do everything. A lot of people come to me as a coach and they say, I really want to understand who I am and I want to understand where I can go next. Usually what I'm doing with those particular clients is I'm helping them to understand who they are, which is, third dimension, and so that they can change the first dimension, where they go, because you've got to know who you are in order to know where you can go. So that's one of the keys, is the meta programs. Finally, the decisions filter is what you decide, and your decisions define you. Every single decision that you have made in your life is why your life is exactly like it is today. So I'm going to help you through this program to shift some of your decisions, to help you make new decisions so you can create new outcomes. So this is essentially how it works. The event happens. You go through these filters in a nanosecond. So these filters go so fast, you can't consciously be aware of them. And so what happens is you just see something, you create an internal representation of that something, like the little kid coming into your room to fix a toy. You made a very quick decision. It became an internal representation. It altered your state, your emotional state. That emotional state changes your physiology, gets you ready for fight, for flight, or something more conscious than that. And then that determines your behavior. This is how we think. So this course, we're going to go through these filters and we're going to show you how to actually do processes to consciously change the unconscious thinking, change your programs, the programs that you want to change. This is one model that we're going to use. So the thing I love about NLP is the brain is very complex. But immediately what we've done is we have now put the brain into 7 filters. So that means that what we can do is when we're working with someone and someone says, I'm not achieving this, we can say, okay, so is it in the language filter that we've got to focus? Is it their attitude? Is it something that happened to them in the past? Is it a memory? Or is it an on or off button? Is it their beliefs? Or do they value something more than something else? It's a skewed value that's not really helping them achieve. Or is it their meta programs? Is it their personality? Is it their character? Or have they just made some really dumb decisions that is governed by all of these filters? So we're taking a very complex system like the brain and we are putting it into 7 very simplistic filters. And I'm going to show you how to determine what behavior comes into what filter. So one thing that I want you to understand is you might think the brain is complex, but I promise you by the time we're done in this training, you will know the brain very simply. And it's going to be much, much easier to change behavior. So these 2 million bits of information, we delete them down to 7 plus or minus 2 bits of information per second. So think about it. It's like 2 million bits of information. We have such prejudices that we bring all that information down to 7 plus or minus 2 chunks of information. So what does that mean? That means there is opportunity all around you, but you might not be seeing it right now. So my job is to help you to see what you cannot see, what you are deleting, distorting, and generalizing. So it looks a bit like this. We get an external event. It comes into our conscious mind through our senses. We see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it. And so you imagine that there are all these filters. So what happens is there's on the right, you're going to see information. So information comes in. So let's say all of these dots represent, 2 million bits of information. So it comes into the language filter, and because we don't fully understand what someone is saying, it deletes some of the information. Let's say our attitude is really bad on this day. So again, it deletes information. Because we have no memory of what we just heard or witnessed or saw, again, it deletes information. Let's say we're confused, procrastinating, overwhelmed, then it deletes more information. Let's say it doesn't fit with our meta programs. It's too much detail, and we're global thinkers. We're big picture thinkers. Again, it deletes information. If we don't value it, then again, it deletes information. If we don't believe it, then it deletes information. So this is why we only experience a certain amount of what we're hearing and seeing, because all of these filters start taking away data until it fits our model of the world, until it fits our prejudices. So this is why you can talk until the cows come home, and some people will not understand you. So I'm going to teach you how to communicate so that everyone understands you. So much of it is in these filters. So it looks a little bit like this. There is potential reality all around you. but your reality is where you shine the torch. In other words, what you value. In other words, what you believe. In other words, what you can comprehend from what you're witnessing. So why is it two people read the same book, which is How to Become a Success in Your Business? One person reads the book, uses this information in the book, and multiplies their business, scales it up to turn into a multi-billion-dollar business. Another person reads the same book, but completely fails. And the reason is all due to our thumbprint. It's all due to we are unique based on our experience, based on our upbringing, based on what we believe, based on what we were taught, based on all of our prejudices. So that's why two people can get the same information and completely turn it into polar opposites of a result. So what I'm going to be teaching you is how to get results. How do you really be able to see what you can't see right now? So that's in summary.